Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am, but right in front of me was the answer. 'Cause on Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song.
Hello, Star Wars fans. You know, there's just 39 days until Santa leaves on the sleigh to deliver presents to children all around the world. 39 days until Christmas Eve, just 40 days until Christmas. And you know what, my friends? We are just 2.5 weeks from the premiere of Skeleton Crew. And you know what we do every time we have a new series, a new season? We have a predictions game, and it's a fun game we play. And there's 10 questions on there. 9 of them are true or yes and no, true and false. Sort of like, will somebody die? Right? Will there be a Jedi? Will somebody light a red lightsaber? Those kind of things. You know, Star Wars things. And you can vote yes or no, what you think is going to happen in that episode. And then we have one question at the end that's a fill in the blank. You put whatever you like. And when you do that, then we watch the episode together. We go through those predictions and score them. And if you get more points than Santa, then you get your name put on the wall of fame for that week. And you'll see it in the tracker right below the screen. I'll show you what it looks like. So if you've not been here for those, what we do is we put right like that. See, there it is. You see like a season leaderboard. We give away Star Wars Santa merch to those who score more than Santa. And we then we have the leaderboard that we just put your name on this wall of fame for the week because you got as many or more points correct than Santa. And then we just keep those points through the season. If you can beat me for the season, then you get Star Wars Santa merch. And I send it to you wherever you are. If you happen to be in Ireland, like my friend Karen, I'll send it to you. Or maybe you'd be in London, England, like my friend Star Wars Meg. Of course, Meg has never won, but there's or the Sabersmith. You know, Star Wars Santa would be very happy if you can beat me in the predictions game to send you some Star Wars Santa merch. So it's a lot of fun, and we have a good time with it. So we're just under 3 weeks now, 2.5 weeks until the premiere of Skeleton Crew. I think it's 18 days. So very, very exciting for that. We've got some Star Wars news to talk about today. And you know, my friends, Peanut's back here in the back. She's just hanging out there. But if you would like, share, do the social media things, let people know what we're doing here. We're just having fun. We're Star Wars fans, and we have different opinions. We try to give you the information kind of straight. And of course, I'm a huge fan. Good to see all of you all. Litrick says, Brandon, got any snow yet? I'm in Sweden, and it's still like autumn with sunshine. Real weird. Oh, in Sweden. Wow, fantastic. we have a friend of ours, right? If you've hung out with this, you know Meta Egg. Uh, he is in Colorado, and he has had a good bit of snow already. Here in Ohio, no snow yet, but we typically get our first snow in November. But tonight, if you happen to be in Central Ohio, I'll be at the Columbus Zoo, going to the polar bear exhibit, checking on those polar bears. And no, on the way to the polar bears at the Columbus Zoo, they've got the reindeer up there. So I'll check in on the reindeer and make sure they're doing well. So, you guys, it's great to see all of you here today. Um, I just love this community. You guys are great, and I look forward to doing this show. We do have memberships and Patreon. As I put up there, we have a Patreon server where you can come in, and I've got over 100 videos on there that are only available on Patreon. And you can join there for as little as $1 a month and have access to all of those videos, as well as a, a super chat feature. And what it means is if you put a question on that Patreon super chat, then I will read it. And if it's appropriate for the show, we will discuss it here. So you treat it just like you would a super chat in the stream, and you can put that there and we'll discuss it on a future show. Also, I've got a great idea for a community stream. So all of our Patreons, all of our YouTube members have access to a monthly Zoom call with Santa. And that's going to be this coming Monday. But you have other benefits as Patreons. So not only that $1 super chat, over 100 videos, you can schedule one-on-one with me. And I'm trying to do that with one of our patrons right now. We're trying to get our schedules lined up, and we could talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. We can talk about Star Wars. We can talk about African Greys. Whatever the topic you'd like to talk about, we'll make that available to you. And we also do community streams from time to time where you can call in here and join the show, and we'll talk about Star Wars. I've got a great idea for a show. And if we can, I'll try to get it in next week, a community stream. We do those on Thursdays typically. And on Thursdays, we will, next Thursday, if at all possible, depending on my work schedule, we will try to do a community stream and say, you could make one change, only one, to every movie. We'll go all the way through. We'll start with The Phantom Menace, all of the saga movies. So 1 through 9, you could only make one change. Right? That's it. One change. What change would you make to each movie? Maybe you wouldn't make a change to a movie. You think it's perfect the way it is. But if you could make one, what would it be? So we'll do that. I think that'll be a fun discussion. Get all of your opinions next week. And shout out to TRB because I got the idea from them. So it spurred off of a discussion they were having. So one change to every movie. So again, for our YouTube members and our patrons, that is another benefit we give you here as a member of the channel. So before we get into the topics of the day, you know what? From time to time, I get these gifts in the mail. And this is something I purchased from Hasbro, and I got it in the mail this week, right here. So you can send things right there. You can find the address in lots of places, but we're going to open this up. What's in this giant box? What is it? Baymax, can we change the decision on the day it was greenlit? No. Has to be within the context of the movie. Within the context of the movie. You know, I should shout out everybody who's here. Of course, my friend Star Wars Fitz. He was the first one in the chat. Good to see you, my friend. He is traveling. He's listening on his way into town. We've got Brandon has been here. Baymax is here. Good to see you, Baymax. Haven't talked to you in a while. We tried to catch up last week and it just didn't happen. So maybe we can get caught up here soon. Litrix over there in Sweden. fantastic. Good to see you here as well. Merry Christmas. Good to see you. Sabersmith, a great friend of the channel. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for all your support. Brandon, said hello to you as well. Thank you so much for being here. And Nick. Nick, jolly old Saint Nick. Nick is a great name. Nicholas, Saint Nicholas. What a great time of year to have a name like Nick. Good to see you here. Thank you so much. And let's see, Mike Yaney. There's another loyal member of the channel. Good to see you. And Brian Stone, happy Friday. TGIF. Good to see you here. Thank you so much. I think that covers the bases. We're going to open this box. What's in here? What's in here? I know what it is, but let's see. I've seen some reviews of this online, but at least if it's what I think it is, it's a big box. What would be a Hasbro vintage collection item that would come in a box this big? What would it be? Baymax might know. Baymax, he collects all the stuff. Yeah. What do you think, Peanut? Huh? Yeah? Let's see. What's in the box? What is in the box? Let's see. Oh, lightsaber? Nah, but I love the idea of a lightsaber. But no, I don't think so. Let's see what's in here. Oh, now they got this package with this this wrap. I know Peanut doesn't like this kind of wrap. Last time I opened one of these and it had this wrap in it, she went flying off. She's like, no, I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Yeah, see, she's already leaning back. She's like, don't put that anywhere near me. She doesn't like it. So it's okay, Peanut. I'm not going to put it near you. You're all right. Yeah. She's ready to escape. You're a funny girl. Yeah, you're a funny girl. Look here. There we go. Here we go. We've got the Armorer's Forge. So the Armorer's Forge here. This it's a pretty big set, and I'm happy to have it. There's a couple of reasons that this is great. I've seen some. You guys are being naughty and Plagueis. I've seen some criticisms of this, and we'll talk about it here in just a moment. So I'm gonna put on my glasses so I can see, and you're gonna see more Santa here. Here we go. more Hondo content, please. Yes, Lucasfilm, Hondo, more Hondo content. We're gonna open this up and see just exactly why people are happy and not so happy with this set. I think I'm happy to have it. I'll put it that way. The price is a little high, but there's a couple of great things here that I think are worth noting. And when these start to go on sale, I would pick one up. Yeah. So I want to. Oh, we lost the first thing I wanted to talk about. I opened it up upside down. Hold on. Oh. There we go. There we go. This right here. I wanted to talk to you guys about this Armorer that comes in this pack. Now, of course, this is an unpunched card, and Hasbro does a great job of boxing these so that these cards are perfect, right? There's no damage. The way that they put them in that packaging. This is a great Armorer, though, because she has a soft goods cape. We've not had that on the Armorer before. And look at that card. That's fantastic. There at the Forge. Emily Swallow, of course, the Armorer, good friend of Star Wars Meg. And I see somebody's here to join. Oh, Rob, how are you, my friend?
Oh, no. How did I end up here? How did I end up at Santa's workshop? I know what I've done this year. I'm not on the good list, I think.
Well, how have you been?
Huh? Other than my horrendous takes on Star Wars, I'm okay.
Well,
I'm okay.
I have horrendous takes too. But like sometimes I'm too positive on that, and people take me to task. But I was just getting into this forge here, and talk about what all's included in this playset. Did you? Now I know you have the Razor Crest. Have you gotten anything else lately?
No, my next step is to create the burning wreckage where we just put them in a pile and light them on fire, right? So like, then you can use your forge set to reconstruct meltdown. Look, that's the problem with these things, right? Is like you get these sets and you want to role play a little too much, and your parents like, you can't actually melt down the toys, Rob. You know, I tried that with the droids. Remember in a Jedi when the droid burns the feet of the other droid, right? Yeah, I got a good lesson in not playing with fire on that one, you know.
So there we go. We've got the armor's tools. She's got her long-handled prongs there to get stuff out of that forge. Here's a little stand to
Very
work
clever.
on. Right, these are great. Let's see, what do we got here? There's some again, just some accessories that go here. This is I want to get to some of the cool stuff. Here's where you take your melted down liquid molten lava metal. Right? That's great. Another kind of stamping kind of tool there.
These are the same tools that Stephen S. DeKnight used when he wrote the latest draft of the Rey movie. So I think we're in good hands. I think. Look at that.
Oh, we've got. This is just some of the tools. I want to get down into this playset because there's some great stuff in here that I want to talk about, because they were smart about it in one way, but other people were complaining about it. Yeah, the unpunched, does it make it more valuable? Nick says. The unpunched used to be a really, really big deal because you'd only get the toys at the stores, and when people would unbox them to put them on the shelves, and they put them on the hanger, they would knock out the.
That was me. Punched. I was the guy doing that. 96, 97.
So you had to find them before they could come out of, or go onto the pegs, and then you could get them maybe unpunched. Yeah.
Or you reserved a few and made a few extra bucks because you weren't being paid much, right?
True.
You held a few for the guys who willing to kick you a 20 spot, you know?
We got,
may or may not have happened.
With a couple extra helmets here. We've got this is a like a yellow kind of, I can't get it too much closer, it goes in the dark. But we kind of got some yellow trim on that one. There's another one here that's kind of a burgundy colored helmet with silver trim. So if you have Mandos, like a set of Mandos like this, right? You got a set of Mandos, and you'd like to put different color helmets on them. You could do that because they come here in the forge, where you can get these different helmets.
You think Favreau takes his Mandos and like works out the script? Like in the camera. Remember how like in the making of the Jedi, they had the speeder bikes, the actual toys, and they put little cameras on them. I think they take the figures out. Like that's how I wish they'd storyboard all the shows that way, right?
Well, what's his name? The one director that did the Boba Fett.
Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, Robert Rodriguez. He scripted them out with these toys, but then
well, that makes sense.
After that, there's a different version of Grogu here. This version has the Beskar armor underneath with the Mythosaur seal right on it. So the clan of Mythosaur, whatever that is, right, of Din Djarin, right, Din Grogu. He's got the Mythosaur armor, the Mithril. You see what I did there?
I saw.
Okay.
Hold on. Yeah, we can rewind it.
I know what I'm doing. That's good fun. Good fun. And then we've got the great big mythosaur skull there that we can put on the forge as well. And then, all right, so there's a lot of the accessories. Now there's
how much does it run you? 700? Like, was it 349?
This thing was a bit close to $100.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, close to $100. Hey, KG, good to see you. Here's the actual forge parts. So we've got right there, and then here's the other half. And this is where it comes into discussion because people are complaining about the design of this, and I'll show you more in a minute. But if you light this, you can put in your own light source under here, and this will all light up. And that's one of the things they did on purpose. This is left so that you can take some LEDs and mount them into the frame. And when you light it, these things will all light up. So when you get it on your, display, it can look very impressive with these all lit up around here. This will all light up around here because you can put in, you can put that light source in there. Okay,
you want a solid piece of plastic
glasses. These are my Santa glasses. I'll be wearing them with my full suit tonight.
Did they want a solid piece of plastic, Santa? Is that what they're complaining about?
Well, here's the complaint. I'm going to show you in just a second. We've got here's where you can. It's a locker, right? So there's a place to put all those accessories. We've got a little locker here, and I'll show you the complaint. All right, it's coming right now. I had to just get down to it, and let's see if I can get this. I'm gonna have to cut it. More tape. Just a second. There we go. All right. So the top and bottom of this are unfinished. This is the complaint. So the bottom is fine, right? You set it there. You put the forge on top. You get the whole set up there, and then the top. I gotta cut it loose. Just a second. When you assemble it, and people are complaining because when you put it together, right, the bottom is all rock looking, right, and it looks fine, but the top looks like that, right? It's unfinished. So if you set it on a shelf, you set it on something low, and you look at it, it's going to look terrible because it doesn't have a top on it, right? And you can see there's nothing here that allows you access to the rest of your light source isn't going to go through this. It's all solid. So the complaint is they just want to put, Kay says it's backwards. This is the bottom. This is the top. Here. So this is the top. Yeah. So you could get into it there. Where's the other piece? There's one more piece. And people are saying, well, why couldn't they just go ahead and finish it? Put some sort of top on it so it would look better.
Yeah, well, that's how I felt about season 3.
I'm not seeing these unfinished parts, right? Well, it's because they want to allow you to get the lights into it, but also this forge was in a cave. Right? Like it was, I get their point. Like they could have put a piece over top that you could open.
Yeah, I got to side with this one, with the fans on this one, Santa. That looks like an incomplete toy.
Right. And I'm not going to be able to put it all together.
How many people put lights in their toys? I don't know,
Well, And see,
What does the box show?
again, looking at the like constructed part of it, the bottom here is
it's
the
just a
part that
back
has
wall.
the lights in it, right? So this has the lights in it, the bottom part. It's the one that's solid that you can't see through. So yeah, you could put your batteries and stuff in there, but you can't go through to the thing to put the lights in. So that's weird. And then the other part, the top part here, that looks like this,
I see.
is
I see what
open
you
on the
mean.
top. And so that's going to look janky, right?
Right,
Yeah,
right. So you're looking down at it, and you're gonna see the
this.
yeah. You're right.
It's going to look terrible, right? You've got this with this hanging off of it,
Yeah.
right? Let's see if I can get this to attach. Yeah, but anyway, it's basically like that, right? So this is attached to that, and this is what you're going to see from the top. That's not what you want to see.
Only $100. I mean,
yeah. I just
watch. So how long before the 3D printer guys got this solved? Right?
Oh, today, right?
Right. So,
right.
How much? Probably another $30 in plastic. It's going to cost you if you print it out yourself, right?
Yeah, because this part doesn't really have lights. It's this part that has lights, and this goes on the bottom, right? And then there's no. It's weird. So yeah, I side with the fan.
It's $100. I mean,
Hasbro, right? All you have to do is make a cap for that. Just make a cap for that. If you put it on the shelf, you're not going to see the cap, and you're not putting lights down through this part anyway. So yeah, there's that.
Could have just been a sheet of cardboard or something, too. To be honest with you, like you could have just stuck over it with some rocky,
Yes. Yeah. Like this color.
Didn't have to be another piece of molded plastic. Could have just been
right. Yeah, I agree. Look,
so when I was in the 5th or 6th grade, around the 5th grade, my mom returned to my life with a new husband, and he was active Army Reserve, been in there for like 30 years, and he saw me pining over the Batcave playset, right? He's like, you're not getting that. Here's what you get. And he gave me a stack of cardboard, duct tape, some scissors. Get to it, So I just learned to make my own sets, you know what I mean? But even I would have made certain there was a cardboard cap of some sort,
Yeah, there should have been something. It's just, it's incomplete, as you're saying, as people are complaining about. And
I can share some inside info with you, Sam, if you want to know.
Yeah.
It wasn't but 3 or 4 weeks ago, some friends of mine in let's just say Boys Licensing or whatever got the spiel from Walmart that they're considering soon to drop the Star Wars toys from the boys section. Like they're having that low of sales.
Really?
Right now. Yeah.
That's
it's real, because it affects all other licensing, if that goes, t-shirts are next, lunch boxes, all that stuff. So
that's not good. That's
no
not good at all.
Merry Christmas.
No. Oh my goodness. So where's my mythosaur?
So you got work. You got to shove all these toys under the tree this year. So the boys you got to give them the free ones so they get hooked, right? That's how you do it, right, Sam?
Well, yeah.
Well, look, what's cool now though, Santa, is see at the top you can get one of those cans of He-Man slime, and just right there, right, and you can slime, right? You go right, you can slime through the forge.
Yeah. I'm not crazy about this.
Careful, you're gonna
see what's going on.
You're gonna cut yourself doing that.
But there we go. It's basically assembled, right? And you do have access to put your lights in through here, right? Up into there. It's great. That's great. And the wires can come right out the back. You can have everything mounted in here. This is no problem. The problem is they didn't put anything over here. And that's, if you're just have this sitting on your desk or having it sitting, that's going to look terrible. And I could have easily done that, right? But
Yeah,
otherwise, I think it's fine. Like there's other complaints that it looks too clean. Like this is a forge. It would have like
It-
smoke
right.
and there would be residue and stuff here where you've lit the forge. It's a little too clean.
You want some
And
airbrushing? Yeah.
right,
Right.
right.
Have we ever gotten airbrushing on Star Wars toys? Ever?
Uh,
I can't recall.
yeah, I don't.
Mm-mm.
I mean, there's some on the Razor
No.
Crest, I suppose, but yeah, this is just
No.
not. This isn't great. I mean, I love it. I love that it exists, and the best part is the armor, as I mentioned before, coming with the soft goods cape plus her jetpack. Those were not available before, so this is great. Problem is, I don't want to buy two of these forges to get two of these, so I can leave one carded and open the other one. Right? You're like, oh, I've got an unpunched card. How am I gonna? What am I gonna do? Yeah. So there you go. I think Hasbro could have done better. Right? They could have done better.
Well, you see, Santa, the problem is they haven't had much competition for that.
Well, true,
right?
true.
So
I would give this maybe a B minus, something like that.
I'd get that on sale.
Yeah, I think that'll be it.
At best, that's a $49.99 purchase for me. Like, and that's being generous. Back in the day, I'd say it's a $29.99. You know,
yeah, well, you figure the unpunched cards worth $15, $17, $18, right? That's
$100
at $40. You're nearly 20 for this and 20 for that, right? 25 for this, 15 for that, which maybe about the right price, right? So yeah, I think it could have been better. Baymax says they used to do way more washes and weathering. Now everything looks too clean. I think that's the problem. Again, we're kind of nitpicking a little bit. I should make it clear. I'm happy. I'm happy that I have it. But the criticisms for this are absolutely valid. It's too clean. This should have some sort of cover, and you could move it from a B minus to an A plus, just like that. You know. So there you go. There you go.
Well, it's self-defeating. See, Santa, if they were selling Star Wars toys at Force Awakens level, right? They'd be you'd be getting more accoutrements, you know. Some they can only not afford it because they're selling less and less of stuff. So price goes up, quality goes down to make up the difference, and we all know where this leads, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, you should also know you do get another Grogu if you want another one with the best. I mean, this isn't available anywhere else with the best Scar armor underneath, and the extra helmets. You get all of the armor's tools. You know, it's a complete set. It just needs some weathering, and it needs some. Baymax says 10 years ago it would have had lights. Well, at least they made it where it's easy to light it, right? It's pretty easy. You just add.
10 years ago, it was Force Awakens, so like,
I may even pick up a little string of those mini LEDs and light mine, and I'll show everybody once I get it done. Yeah, I'm happy to have it. You want to talk about the news?
Do you want to talk about the news? And we're gonna ruin Santa's day. You gotta go see the kiddies tonight, right? You gotta hit the malls. It's all started, right?
Well, last week I talked a little bit about this story, and I'll bring it up because it kind of resurfaced with a little heat, and it's this Star Wars movie's Race for Rey, the Race for Rey. That's great. And the future of the franchise on the big screen. And I'm sure everybody's seen this article. You're aware of what it says. Essentially, Lucasfilm has all of their eggs in one basket, and it's Rey. And that all of that they see that as their primary asset for moving the franchise forward. Which then gets all kinds of people agitated. Okay. Oh, geez, not this article. Yeah, I know. I haven't talked about it yet, so we'll go through it here. But my
Two
take,
white guys are talking about Ray again. Man,
well,
damn it. Where's
I wanted to make a political joke, but I'll leave it out. I'll leave it out.
you don't find the article at all. Well, KG, you probably haven't been following Lucasfilm for the past 30 years or any Hollywood project, but we'll get into that.
Well, okay. I'm glad you mentioned that because there's a couple of things that I think bear. This is not an announcement from Lucasfilm, although this is through all of the major trades. So this isn't something that Lucasfilm is fretting about necessarily. They may not like Boris's the author of this piece may not like his take on it or how he's reporting it, but it bears stating that this is not a project, or none of these are projects that Lucasfilm has announced like, hey, we're making this movie. Production starts on February 13th. None of that. However, we do have the new Jedi Order movie that was announced.
Hold on. To be fair, they didn't give you a production start date on the Mando movie either. All right. So like Bespin and Jason told you all when that was shooting. I went down to the set, and saw it. When they told me it wasn't shooting, Santa, I went down there and saw the shooting. So like, I'm just going to let you know right now, right? I trust the Hollywood Reporter and Kim Masters and everyone over there over Lucasfilm PR at this point. All right.
Well, how could you trust
based on what
Lucasfilm
I've already
PR?
seen?
Well, when those stories came out, the filming had wrapped, I got information that day that no, it didn't. They're not done. They have lots more to go. At least 1 or 2 more months. That was back then. Then of course, Bespin and Jason did the legwork and they found out more information. But I was told on that day when that story came out, no, they're not done. So here's some of the issue we have is Lucasfilm is chasing stories instead of leading them. And I don't even know that they're chasing them at this point. They're just letting things be. And it's a problem because the narrative that comes out of everything Lucasfilm is whatever people on the internet want it to be. That's it.
Right, but
there's nothing to refute anything they say.
I'm not going to try and speak for the people and, let's be honest, the bots on the internet, right? There's a lot of weaponization of narrative, so it's hard to say what the internet actually thinks. We've seen this a million times when the internet's looking forward to a Joker 2 movie and no one shows up. So this doesn't interest me. What I do know is insiders talk usually for one of two reasons. One, they're super excited about a project and they can't contain themselves. Or two, they're super frustrated with a project and they can't contain themselves, Santa. That's usually why people break NDAs and speak to reporters off the record. So having seen how that works out, I can tell you this was frustration. This was frustration.
And it's obvious in the article when you read it that there's frustration, right?
Yeah.
The truth, who knows exactly what the truth is, but you can gauge at least the temperature based off of it. And who knows how much of this is going to happen and exactly how it all works out. Like I mentioned, there's the new Jedi Order movie that's supposed to feature Daisy Ridley, right? That was announced at Celebration and they brought her out on the stage, super excited. Daisy has done several interviews following where she's said, I haven't seen anything yet, but they keep telling me great things that I'm super excited about over and over again, right? And then just a couple weeks ago, she came out and said, oh, there's some imminent news coming right away. Well, then this story breaks about the new Rey Trilogy or the new 10, 11, 12 trilogy or the new trilogy of a start over. It's a 1, 2, 3 of a new thing. Who knows what they're talking about, we don't have official information. It's all for interpretation and people to try to read tea leaves and figure out on your own. So whatever that is, there's the new Jedi Order plus these other movies, and Rey is involved in some manner or form in all of them. And will any of them actually get made? Who knows? Who knows? And here's you go to any other studio, Universal, you name it. There are dozens and dozens of movies that are at the same stage of this, right? They're an idea. They've said, "Hey, you, why don't you write something?" And they'll never see the light of day, and we'll never hear about it. We will never know that there was this movie that so and so worked on for 18 months, and then they scrapped it. They didn't do anything with it. We'll never know that, hey, they brought on, this writer and that writer, and they worked together, and then they went home. Those don't make the trades. Those don't get reported.
Yeah, I would not equate uncredited writing like Macquarie did on Rogue One with starting two competing projects with different producers and probably different directors and a different, completely different scripts featuring the exact same characters. Not the same thing as making we're developing a bunch of different Marvel characters and we'll see which one panned out. If you were developing two different Avengers films and we know one's supposed to come out and whichever one gets their script done will probably get there first, you'd have a larger uproar from the internet community over that leak. But it's more, this is actually kind of akin, and you can relate to this, Santa, because you were there. This is kind of like when Paramount didn't know what to do with Star Trek after the first film, so they commissioned a bunch of scripts, right? So they had like a few scripts, right? 2, 3, 4, something like that. They had a bunch of scripts. And then at some point, they bring on Nicholas Meyer, right? Who just did was it the Time After Time or whatever, the time travel movie with Orson Jules Verne goes to the future to fight Jack the Ripper, right? And they bring him on, and then he takes like they take a few of those different scripts and kind of merge the best ideas out of them into one script. One could think you could see them possibly doing that in a scenario where they go, well, we'll take this idea and that idea and this idea. But this sounds more like once, when there's like Armageddon in production and Deep Impact's in production, when you got multiple tornado movies in production, it sounds like that's happening, but at one studio, which is odd.
Well, you hear from time to time, and some of them are much bigger deals than others, where a studio will buy the rights to a story, right? And they're going to make a movie out of it. And that thing will sit there until those rights expire, and they never make a movie out of it. They have the rights for it. There was at some point an intent to do something with those rights that they purchased, but then nothing got off the ground. So you had the germination of an idea. You had a concept of something you were going to do, but for whatever reasons, mismanagement or just changing times, or any number of other things, those things don't get done. And then you'll find out that the rights expired on this, and another studio picks it up, or they're shopping it around to another studio to buy it. It happens all the time, where it's beyond just somebody pitching something. They actually paid money for something and then never do anything with it. It happens, and it's frequent. It just doesn't get blown into all kinds of stories about it.
Except few of those companies ever have their own convention where they then wheel out the people who are supposedly directing and starring in these films, say it's coming, and then not make it. So, I mean, look, and it's not like if it were the first time, hey, whatever. But then you got Patty Jenkins getting a whole trailer where she's roller skating on a tarmac, doesn't happen, Lord and Miller get wheeled out there. They're going to do a solo movie. They even take a group photo. They even let them shoot the movie. Then they cut them, which is still the craziest story I've heard in Hollywood in the last 30 years, Santa.
Well, because it's Lucasfilm and because it's Star Wars, it does get a different amount of attention than somebody who's a fan of a book series. And maybe that book series is huge, right? Amongst a certain genre of fans. And then there's a one particular one that's in my mind, and it's just at into my fingertips. It's has something to do with like a skeleton and some witchcraft and some it's like voodoo kind of stuff, and I can't remember the name of it. And I think Disney bought the rights for it, and they announced they were going to make something, and it sat there, and now I think they're shopping it around, or somebody else has bought the rights to it. It's not going to get done. Right? It happens all the time, is my point. And because it's Star Wars, if we look at it in a different light, as you mentioned, right? We've got great big conventions, and it's bigger than some novel that has a following out there, right?
So it has its own theme park, Santa. The only other novel that could compete is Harry Potter, and they got a whole TV series coming down. That thing's getting done quicker than these movies, So
Seth says a new Skeleton Crew teaser just dropped. So I just want to wrap this up by saying we'll have to just wait, right? Am I upset that Lucasfilm is trying to do something with the sequel trilogy character? Absolutely not. I hope they do. I've heard some things, some behind the scenes of movement on these in a forward progress kind of way, a significant forward progress kind of way that has not made its way to the public media yet. Right? There's some significant news on the front on these that Lucasfilm just has not announced yet. They're probably waiting for Celebration next year, but it's big, and I wish I could say more publicly. I just can't.
It's like the time you and Meg thought Mace Windu is going to be in the Book of Boba Fett, Santa. No. Remember that one?
This is more significant. This is and grounded. I've got like real information. Like,
seal it in an envelope and mail it to me, and I will open it when the day comes.
This isn't anything that is fan mathing. This isn't thing about trying to do something. Yeah, this is direct information. So I wish I could share. But I'm excited about seeing the sequel trilogy continued. And one of the problems that, and you'll understand me here a little more. One of the issues George Lucas, one of the big problems I have with him is that he did the prequels instead of doing sequels, following the original trilogy and following the hit that it became, that he didn't pick up the ideas germinating in his mind to make what happens next, while the actors were still in their prime and able to portray the characters in the way that the fans had in their memories. When you come back and instead of a prequel trilogy, done something with the original trilogy actors following Jedi, then we wouldn't be here, right? We wouldn't be where we are today. And now people who would love to see those actors, right? Carrie's gone. And the actors are not in their 30s or 40s anymore. And if what you do with the sequel trilogy is you wait 40 years to come back to the characters, then you're not going to get the story of what happened after Rise of Skywalker. You're going to get something that happens much, much later down the timeline. And there are people who are perfectly happy to let that happen. But there are also people who are huge fans of these characters that would like to see them while the actors
No,
are
you can
still
do it.
in their prime
You-
and they can do movies where they
Yeah, well.
resemble the character that they played.
So two problems with that theory, Santa, is one, you're right, but remember, the prequels were supposed to happen in the late 80s, but Lucas quit Star Wars. Like, he was supposed to go prequels, and then when Carrie and all them aged into the roles that they would have been in the mid 90s, then he would have done that then. That was the way it was supposed to go. It was supposed to get a trilogy of prequels featuring the mother of Luke Skywalker, and at the time, not one. Anyways, and so your fans who don't know the story can claim I'm making it all up. I don't care. And then that didn't happen. So he makes the prequels. That's what we're stuck with this. But I didn't see George Lucas in 1994 really, but 1997, 98, trying to find a way to de-age Alec Guinness, right? Like, he just hired a new actor. So, why don't we just hire new actors to?
Oh, Rob's gone. I didn't do it. Rob,
Santa.
I didn't kill you. Yeah, I didn't do it.
I know. Heavy as the crown, Sam. So I think the real problem at the end of the day is we have too many timelines with Star Wars fans. All exist on timelines. They all have to hear about 24 BBY 77 RJW, blah blah blah. You need a singular narrative the whole world can follow, and they recognize that at Lucasfilm, and they're having a hard time deciding what that is because everyone's afraid to fail, Santa. Everyone's afraid to be like, I can't. What if I get it wrong? What if I get it wrong? And that's what Lucas ran into. What if I get it wrong? Not so much with the first one, but definitely with that second one.
I just don't think we need to wait until Daisy Ridley's in her 60s, 70s to bring back Rey. Right? The sooner, the better. And absolutely perfectly happy with that. What's going to happen to the Charbine Obaid-Chinoy New Jedi Order movie? Maybe it gets folded into this trilogy. Maybe it's maybe this trilogy is way later. We don't know. There's so much unknown, and we just got to wait for some information to come out. And maybe that's what Daisy's excited about. It went from one movie to 3 movies, and all of the work that's been done to come up with the New Jedi Order movie. Maybe it's a New Jedi Order trilogy, right? New Jedi Order Episode 1, New Jedi Order Episode 2. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But we have a new Skeleton Crew teaser. Thanks to the folks here in the chat who told me about it, and Matt Risman for sending me the link. And we also have it on Discord. Seth, thank you for posting that on Discord. But let's take a look at it. I have not seen this yet. So I'm going to turn on the audio here. It will not play through the sound because of the way that I'm sharing it. You may hear it over my speakers, but that'll be it. But let's see what this is about. Nice. Oh, very good. Let's see. Does this let you slow down the speed? Yeah. I can slow down the speed, mute it. We can go back through it. Look, cereal in Star Wars. Yeah.
We had that in Andor.
Yeah. Looks like Cocoa Puffs.
Cereal eating cereal. That's what he was eating.
Exactly. So here we go. In blue milk kind of thing. And there's the commute to school, sitting in school. There's Neil raising his hand. We've got a guest there in the class, some senator or somebody like that. Right, coming home from school and collapsing on the couch. I've done that before, just like that. Right after school. Oh, we're pouring cereal again. Go back to that. And then, yeah, you can see Neil and this student, they're both commuting together. There's our guest in the
He said
classroom.
what they were doing was playing a second and then playing it again for the iPhones, you know.
Yes, that's exactly what they did. Oh, we've got a creature here. A great big, like, snapping turtle kind of creature. You see that? Let me back that up. On. I turned the audio on somehow. Yeah, this is like there's the big shell there, and this is like a big snapping turtle mouth, but he's got an antenna like a snail.
But if you notice, Senna, they didn't finish the top of the turtle. So when you look down on it, you're just going to see right into that thing. So, you know, like budgets, Disney Plus. What are you going to do? You know, what are you going to do, Senna? You know,
yeah, that's a big snapping turtle looking kind of thing. There's Jude Law, and we got some battle going. Oh, this looks like that guy. So you can barely see him there on the edge, but this looks like the guy that was in the old Ewok movies that we saw. It was leaked, or the news came out about him a little while ago. There he is, right there. It's the same guy that was in those Ewok movies, The Caravan of Courage. The guy can run really.
What have I been saying since day one with this project? You want to go back to my comments? Feels like we're hanging out in the Ewok movie style of things here, bud. You know, like I've seen kids in Star Wars. It's never worked out, you know?
It looks like Teak. Yeah, that's his name. Teak. KG remembers. And they said specifically that he is just a puppet. They didn't CG him or anything. He's completely puppet. That looks like Teak. I could be wrong, but that looks like him. They're on the edge of the screen, which is interesting, which means that we're not necessarily going back to the planet, you know, Andor, where Teak lived. This looks like it's on a ship somewhere. I guess they could be on Andor. But yeah, the effects look great. Action looks great. I'm looking forward to this. I'm hoping that it's going to be fantastic. We've got all the Star Wars, and there's a couple other bits here that I want to bring up from StarWars.com. So let me while I've got this up, we'll close this story. So StarWars.com, they've got a little picture here, Jude Law with all the students around him. This is where he says, "Hey, Neil, you want to pilot this ship?" We've got a poster with some X-wings on it. The ship they're flying around in. Our pirate droid from Peter Pan, right here. His name is what's that pirate from Peter Pan? His name, it's got the same name. So, and you've got a nice kind of ET bicycle looking. That looks just like it's from ET. The bicycle image that they have of them riding with ET. So very much picking up on the right kind of Smee. That's it. Matt Risman in the chat for the win. Smee. That's Smee. So there's that. And then they also have here on disneyplus.disney.com. This one is similar poster. You can see the senator that was in the classroom here off to the side, and the characters. But the description here, and now that we have a little more information, I think this description is pretty good. It says, Skeleton Crew follows the journey of 4 kids who make a mysterious discovery on their seemingly safe home planet. We saw that in the previous trailer where the kid falls down the side of the little hill, finds the ship under the cover, under some brush and stuff. And then after school, they all go back and they're uncovering it and looking into it. And thus we get into it. It says, then they get lost in a strange and dangerous galaxy. This is where we speculated for a long time. Was it going to be the regular Star Wars galaxy? Oh, shoot. I should have left that Disney one up. Disney. Now, where was I? It was Star Wars. StarWars.com. It's here. StarWars.com. Because they have specifically on here that it says, tells the story of 4 kids searching for their home planet after getting lost in the Star Wars galaxy. So it's the familiar galaxy. We've seen X-Wings. The X-Wings are on the posters. We've seen plenty of images that look like planets we could know. I saw Meg's video, I think yesterday, speculating that perhaps we were revisiting planet we saw in Ahsoka and in Rebels a lot. My brain's going blank on that planet, the one that Ezra Bridger's from. But it's possible we could be revisiting that. It's all familiar to us, but unfamiliar to them. So when you read this and it says, get lost in a strange and dangerous galaxy. Lothal, that's it, Matt. Seth, thank you both. Lothal, yeah. There's some speculation that the one image might be from Lothal. But no, this is a strange and dangerous galaxy. And that was Andor. But it says, crossing paths with the likes of Jadna Nawood. That's played by Jude Law. They finding their way home and meeting unlikely allies and enemies, a greater adventure than they ever imagined. Look, that's perfect Amblin. That's perfect Goonies. That's perfect E.T.
No. Hold on. I gotta stop you there. I need it. Look, I think the production looks nice, right? ILM did their job, doesn't look cheap. But I need to put a pin on this whole it's Goonies stuff. Because the Goonies kids, let me go show you every bit of marketing from the Goonies. You just show those kids arguing with one another. That's Goonies. They talk over one another. They're back and forth, blah, 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 blah. You saw this when JJ did his Super 8 film and they put out the first teaser. It's the kids talking over another, and this confrontational friend, the best friends who argue and fight with one another, right? Verbally. Okay, verbally. You get the Stranger Things promotion, you get that. This is not that. These kids aren't arguing and talking over one another. You get some reactions and maybe one word, right? This is Hallmark movie kids. These are Hallmark movie kids, Santa. This is the biggest budgeted Hallmark movie ever made, right?
So hot take of the day.
So I'm just saying, I take umbrage. You want to call whatever, maybe they're the Harry Potter kids because they never argued with one another. I'm fine with that analogy. Stop using Goonies. All right. No. This is not the Goonies kids. Even E.T., the dinner table scene where the brothers and the sisters are arguing over another, and the mom's trying to talk over them. Why they? No. This is not that. So just stop. It's Hallmark. So, which is fine, but don't invoke the Goonies if you're not going to bring the attitude. I don't want to hear it.
What makes me sad is that Matt Risman's here, and if Matt heard that, Matt said he was in a meeting, so maybe he heard you, but this will make its way over to EBN. Matt will be sharing.
Because I got kids in it's Goonies. There's a specific attitude and vibe with that thing. All right, with that sort of the Spielbergian influence was that he would let kids talk on camera the way they were talking in his house. He just felt kids were always like scripted. So he wanted like unscripted moments where they were just acting like how kids do with one another. This is not that. This is exactly the Apple Dumpling Gang kind of kids. All right. These are just, they got their moments and their reactions and they do their pratfalls and their little bits, and that's fine. But it's not Goonies. Super 8 kids got the Goonies. Stranger Things got the Goonies. Monster Squad to some extent, not as good. Better than this. Got the Goonies.
Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see.
I'm telling you, like I can see it. Like
I'm very excited for it.
I've been around this a few times, Santa.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah. There's another story and we'll move to this one. And this is Star Wars Meg's video from today. She covered the new footage coming out of Empire magazine of Andor, the 2025 live action series. Now they've got Skeleton Crew and Andor listed as 2025 in that Disney Plus trailer that's going on for
That's fiscal though.
But
fiscal 20, right?
Is going to bleed over into 2025. It's barely 2025. This is truly the only 2025 series. Andor, the Skeleton Crew only counts on technicality. But anyway, it's sort of like when they release movies, and you're like, it's not really a 2024 movie, but whatever. I'll just play this because yes, as some people point out, Krennic is involved. Very excited about that, and the possibility of tying into those novels. We've mentioned Rebels Rising and Catalyst. Both of those novels are fantastic, and I would highly encourage anybody who's a fan of Rogue One and you enjoyed Andor season 1, go pick up those books. You can get them from public library for free, anything. And do yourself a huge favor. Read Catalyst.
Catalyst is a winner. Jason and I would get in this conversation all the time, and I would tell him the only book I've ever seen that they've ever written that's lined up to anything in live action has been Catalyst. Like there's scenes in Rogue One, like flashback sequences that are from the book. Like you see them, like when they're in the apartment talking to Krennic and stuff. That's all the scenes from the book, So, and it does the only thing I've ever seen where it successfully explains where all the prequel stuff disappeared, how the Empire stuff took over, right? Like
both of those books are just wonderful, wonderful books. And
best book they've done. Since the heir to the Empire stuff, in my opinion.
I like Catalyst a lot. I like Rebels Rising a lot. Both of them, very good.
I don't like anything with the word rising in it. So I don't like rise. I don't like rising. I don't like rise of. I don't like any of that. If that's in there, I know to stay away.
It's a really good book, and some of the Thrawn novels tie in as well to this.
Probably just has a bad title. So.
Well, he finds out about Project Stardust. Thrawn does, and about the supply lines and stuff going back and forth. So all of this is in the same era. Really good story. Looking forward to this. But let's let. Hey there, Fearless. Oh, good to see you. And I saw also real Ben Maynard made it on as well. Matt Risman said Catalyst is an excellent read, even better than Plagueis. There's a long list of books that are better than Plagueis. Yes, and Catalyst is amongst those. Oh, but let's let Meg's video play because she covers the pictures on here really, really well. And I've got her subtitles there so you can see. But Krennic's going to be in here. Here you get. Look, there's everybody's favorite. We've got I didn't slow this down. It's playing at regular speed. I should have slowed it down. Hold on, let me go back. I'll slow this down so that we can kind of talk over it as it plays. The Mon Mothma in her Senate attire there. This really does have a great opportunity to maybe turn some heads. Well, I think Andor season 1, there's a group of fans that really, really loved it. But it did not have the viewership that many other series have. It's one of the lowest viewed series that Disney Plus Star Wars has. So hopefully season 2 picks up and it gains some more following.
Sam is just bitter. Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Yeah, you put this series on Netflix and it's the highest thing watched on that channel. I really can't trust any numbers on Disney Plus, whether it's the most watched or the least watched, because it's probably the worst promoted anything on there. I know our fans know when Star Wars and Marvel's coming out, but I would love to take $100 bet on who could tell me when anything else is coming out. That doesn't involve those two things. And stuff comes out all the time on there. You just don't know it. So
all the time. Yeah.
Like, hey, Sandland is an excellent anime by from the late Akira Toriyama's fantastic manga novel, fantastically animated, great anime. Hit like a fart in the wind on that site, Santa. Just buried, just blew away. So I can't get into the numbers on Disney Plus,
Well, Goosebumps is coming in January. There's another example. There's Krennic, and you see Tarkin, right? He's talking to Tarkin right there. So we've got, and people mentioned there was that lawsuit about using Tarkin's image, but I think that was also unfounded. It's not going to go anywhere. And as Meg reported, they talk about could we possibly see Deidre run into Krennic and maybe be the end of Deidre. Deidre is a very, very popular character from season 1, and going into season 2 to see what might happen of her. That's really good. Ben says Andor just wasn't for me. It was the marketing. It set expectations as this potential rebellion show, but it's really the backstory of Andor. Season 2, where he's in the fight, is more what he wanted. So,
the show about Andor was about Andor, and I had a problem with it. So, you got me.
Well, Andor season 2 is also, it's got the same name.
Yeah, so, as long as there's no Andor in it, I'll watch it.
I'm not saying. Look, I enjoyed the world building in Andor season 1, even the bricks and the screws. More Krennic, and there you go. There's a Death Star. See it? There it is, right there. There's the Death
but it's
Star.
An upside down Death Star, so that's a signal for help from ILM. So these are all scenes from Rogue One. Meg's using footage as she covers. So all right, just want people to understand why you gotta be a little clarify some of that, Santa, because people people like Ben are going to be expecting whole scenes from Rogue One to be in the series, and when it's not, he's going to give it a 1-star review on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever. And, it's unfair for the whole crew.
Ben's not doing that. Ben's a good guy.
We know of.
Ben's great.
Ben's not, but his alt account Neb is going to be doing it. So, we got to be careful. Look out for Neb's anti-Andor review.
I think the chances are high, very high, as K2SO would say, that we will see the Death Star in some form in Andor season 2. They're quite high. Seeing Krennic and
but you saw the Death Star in Andor season 1, right at the end.
Right at the very end. Yeah, as they're putting it. So I think it's very, very strong that we'll see the Death Star in season 2. It's almost a given, right? As Matt Risman put before, 100%, right? Ben says, stop it, Rob. LOL. You're reading into what I'm saying completely wrong.
No, I'm not. I really read what you wrote. And I didn't even get into the particulars because I don't want to turn this into the Ben Maynard show. But, it is about the rise of the rebellion seen through the eyes of Andor, in the way that X-Men is about finding out about the X-Men movie through the eyes of Wolverine. There's always an entry-level character. Someone enters the rebellion already existed. The formation of the rebellion started the second the Emperor declared himself on the throne. So you already saw that in Revenge of the Sith, technically. So,
Look,
there you go. What do you want? You want look, in a perfect world, we'd be on 5 seasons of this, and sure, we could follow something all the way from its beginning to its end. But we don't live in that world. We live in a world that says, hey, Luke Skywalker became a Jedi and then disappeared, and we never saw anything on screen. Ever. You know, you just take our word for it. It was amazing. You should have been there. But
you're going right back to what I said before, Rob. George could have told us that, but no, he decided to go back and do prequels. And you wait until Harrison and Mark and Carrie are so old that they can't, and now we've lost Carrie. And you missed your window of opportunity. Let's not do that with the sequel characters. Let's get their story right away. I'm very excited about that. And what I was going to say is I think 2024, we had a lot of controversy within the Star Wars fandom itself, especially social media fandom. And I keep bringing this up. Meg has mentioned it before. When you meet Star Wars fans in the wild, like just normal people, humans, and you're at Walmart and somebody's got a Star Wars t-shirt on, or you go,
and you smack it out of their hand. You smack those toys right out, and you don't get that toy, right? Right, Santa? That's what we do, right?
Or you meet somebody at a convention, or you meet them at a festival, right? They're in Gatlinburg. Look, they don't get as worked up about. They're not so anti-sequel as we see a lot on the social media. A lot of them, they like Rey and the sequels just fine. It's Star Wars. For them, it's just Star Wars. And they're not into the nuance. And they're not into a lot of this nonsense that we see in social media, on YouTube and Twitter X or whatever platform is your favorite. That's just not like that. In real world, out in the wild, it's not like that.
No, in the real world, Santa, what they do is they just find other things because it's not relevant to their lives. And right now, given I can tell you toy sales, it's just not relevant to anything they're doing. They're how they're experiencing the world. There isn't a big movie everyone's talking about. There isn't any Oscar buzz around something. So it just fades away into the background. And what you're left with is sort of the simmering down of a sauce, right? Right. So it congeals, and that's the fandom. The fandom's like the most concentrated version of that sauce. And so, until there's like the Mando movie, when people will have it, the average person will have an opinion or remember what Star Wars was. And quickly people forget. I mean, they used to call this country the United States of Amnesia, Santa, like around World War I. So I think nothing's changed on that level. So some people will feel there was a Star Wars movie the other day because time moves faster when you're in the back end of your life. And other people will be like, what's Star Wars? I don't know, because they're on the front end of their life and it doesn't matter to them. We're just at the mass opinion doesn't have an opinion right now, Why should they? Well, it hasn't been a big movement since the first Mando series when Grogu took off. And it was the Grogu.
You're a little off. You're a little off point of what I was saying, though. I'm saying, like, go talk to them about the Acolyte. Like, they watched it and they're like,
no, they didn't. I've gone to Walmart and asked people about the Acolyte. They don't know what I'm talking about, Sam. I've done this.
I'm telling you, run into somebody in the wild, just a normal human that's watched the Acolyte.
Okay, right? That's watched it.
Somebody that watched it. Okay. And you ask them, hey, what did you think of the Acolyte? They're like, it was fine. Or I didn't like it. Or, it was great. It was fine. You don't end up with all the kind of hysteria that we get online. The same thing.
Right. I understand you're getting to that point.
So many people that are my age or nearby who watch the sequels who are like, I loved it. It was great. But you get the impression online that everybody, and I see this all the time. And it's one of the things that works me up when somebody says Star Wars fans hate the sequel trilogy. I'm like, no, they don't. No, they don't. The Star Wars fans that you're talking about in your videos or in your community are the ones who agree with you. That's only a subsection of the Star Wars fans. Whether they're a majority or minority is not as pertinent. Is you're kind of painting with a broad brush to say Star Wars fans, especially those who are fans of the original trilogy, hate the sequels. That's not true. It's just blatantly not true. When you run into people in conventions or festivals or Walmart or wherever it might be, and whatever age they might be, and you ask them if they watched it, and they did, you say, did you like it? Did you not? Most of them are like, yeah, it was great. It's Star Wars. We're not doing this nonsense that we see on in these social media spaces. It's just not the same. And so when you talk about
right, Santa. But look, I understand that. But you have the same point every week because you want to make people feel better and not get all stressed out about nothing. And I agree with that because when you go back to 2005, people weren't picketing Toys R Us when the prequel toys came out. I hate the prequels; these suck. No, what generally happens, and my paycheck for a great number of years depended on Star Wars being popular on some level, right? So I would not get a bonus many years because there was just this general malaise amongst the world in terms of their interest in this property. Now, or lack of interest. Is there people? Do people generally about anything hate a cartoon or a movie? No, you really get tribal about sports and politics. That's where you'll get people who will have a visceral reaction to anything. Most films, a Batman, a Superman, they go, oh, well, I mean, I heard of, oh yeah, it was all right. That's why focus groups have to be done, with very particular people being invited to things, and surveys, and it's a very different situation. Most people will give anything a 3 out of 5. Very few people generally come out going, I really hated that. It takes a giant miss. I mean, like in my lifetime, I've only seen it with Batman and Robin, Catwoman, and recently the Joker movie. Coincidentally, all Batman properties. And Batman survived just fine, right? That's why I always tell people, even if you hate Star Wars, right? Even if you go through a point where you're like, this ain't for me. And I went through this. I didn't hate the property, but whatever they're doing with it, I'm out. I'll come back when there's something to like. And I came back when Force Awakens came out. I'm up for this. I'll give this a go. They're always willing to come back because if you have a cool universe in which cool things can happen, there'll always be some general interest. But if you want to get people to stop complaining on the internet, give them something that's so amazing they won't complain. Case in point, I heard nothing but complaints about Matt Reeves' Batman from the hardcore, the Snyder fans, right? They're loud on the internet. Until the Penguin show comes out, then they get drowned out. They get drowned out. And so you gotta put something out that just gets everyone. And there weren't any complaints. Rise of Skywalker came out the same month as Mandalorian. Santa, you know why there wasn't giant mass, this movie's horrible? Because people were loving the Mandalorian at the time. Drowned a lot of that stuff out. Now at the box office, you saw it dip compared to the other 2 episodic films. Right. It made less, barely, but it made less. And that generally hasn't been the case. These films have gone up, maybe not in the Star Wars, but in.
Nope. We lost Rob again. I didn't do it. I'm innocent. I didn't do it. Rob, he timed out. You timed out.
I didn't time out.
I didn't do it.
It's always these computer guys, Santa, right? It's like a mechanic. Their car never works, It's always weird to me. So,
look,
man, they put out this Mando movie takes off, Santa, right? Let's say the Mando movie takes off, okay? Next year. People love it. Not going to hear one complaint. They're going to be looking forward to whatever comes down, whether it's a Rey movie or anything else. I'm just telling you, But you need a win. You need a universal win.
And they do this. And KG mentioned, she's my age. KG and I were close. It says she turned her back on Star Wars after episode 2. The same, right? And the sequels made me a fan again. Same. Force Awakens excited me. The Last Jedi, I thoroughly enjoyed. I've been a fan. The sequels brought me back. The Disney era of Star Wars as a whole has brought me back. Now, I'm not in love with everything. Absolutely not. But I'm much happier than I was coming out of episode 2, right? Attack of the Clones really, really turned me off to Star Wars for a long time. And
threw away my saber. Sadly, you should have been there. We were all waiting out in line for the movie because that was when you stood away from the movie. So there's a Toys R Us right next door. So they held our spot. We went and got toys for everyone. Everyone gave some money. We went in. I got that I called it Doku because I couldn't believe Lucas would be dumb enough to call a guy Dookie. You know, like I was like, can't possibly, and he did it. So, but I was like, it looks a little phallic, but hey, you know, fencing saber, all roll. I was still, yeah, I came out threw that in the trash. So I'm like, I'm out of here. You know, I can't live in a world where the queen of the universe, who's the whatever, just went through a whole film where she's like, indigenous people are people too, and then this one, the guy she loves says he just killed a bunch of indigenous people, and she's like, I love you too. Like, I'm like, wait, there's a white supremacist family here?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Like, I don't know what we're supposed to learn from all this. Like, other than have to happen. So like,
I hated that and some of the tick scene in the field, that was terrible. Like,
one of many, right? Let's just be honest.
Right.
Let's just be one of many. But I'm telling you, thematically, like, you can't have a movie where you learn a lesson and then the next movie like, I don't care, he's hot. Like, I'm like, that's all I learned. And to be honest, given how toxic the universe has gotten since then, I'm thinking that's the lesson they took away.
She's like, well, she was in a relationship. Okay, whatever. I'm just okay. I'm so over it.
I know. Go rah, you complain about the people. Be honest, KG did it. I didn't do it.
You want cringe? That romance was cringe. Yes, 100%. So there you go. Thor, Litrick says, so many great points. Thor, I get all you say. He's calling you Thor. Rob, I think Rhymed knows what's going on is atrocious. We're signaling every negativity in the choir. I think it's great to hear the two of you. Thank you so much, Litrick.
Thor. That's my new name around here. He's mistaking my ears for wings on my helmet. Santa is the problem. You know,
look, the only thing I can't bear is once Jason finds out, he's going to be unbearable. That you're Thor.
Oh, that I'm. Honestly, I relate more to Loki, but you know, you don't want to.
That's true. That's true.
No.
Hey, I've got to wrap it up, but we've got a Mike Porter dad joke. Don't blame me. I preface this with "Don't blame me." There's a Mike Porter dad joke. You guys, Mike Porter is a wonderful friend, awesome dude, and he does dad jokes. Some of his dad jokes. I'm only glad that it's you and not Meg that's here right now, because this one could be read differently. I'm preparing all of you for this Mike Porter dad joke. He says, what galactic battle happened on a teenager Jedi's face?
He's your buddy, huh, Santa? I guess.
Star pores. Yeah, Mike, you got to be careful, my friend.
You know, at least he's not letting ChatGPT write these. You know what I mean? At least he's trying. That's what I say.
Look, I love Mike. That one you gotta watch.
Look, if it were Meg or Jason, they would have went there. I'm like, it's low hanging fruit for me. So you know, I'll let you guys do the math.
No, Litrix, don't apologize. I appreciate that Rob is Thor. That's the best.
The best Thor was in Adventures of Baby Soon. Let's be honest.
No.
Yeah, he was the best Thor.
No. All right. Hey, Rob.
That Thor ruined Taika Waititi's career. That Thor is kicking ass on Daredevil. So that's all I got.
Well, there you go. KG agrees with you. All right.
Yeah.
There you go. Hey, thanks for coming and hanging out with me. I've got to run. I got to get back to work, and I got to get out of here. I got to be down at the Columbus Zoo in just a couple of hours. We're going to the polar bear exhibit. I'm going to be Santa Claus there this evening for a private event.
Do the polar bears look at you and go, Dad? Right? And they run over and
well, you know, the elves, they have to hide from the polar bears because polar bears like to eat elves.
I gotta ask one question, Santa. I've never asked this. Have you ever hired some little people to be your elves? Like, have you ever done the collaboration? Have you?
I have not had that opportunity. I have had some little people tell me that they would be happy to be an elf with me sometime, but I've never had the chance to do that.
Does anyone do the entourage? Like, does the Santa? Is there one Santa who's just rolling in Santa cash, and he's got the role of he's got his little posse of little people that go with him, and just hold back all like you got the whole crew like a band, right? Like, is that never happened?
Well, there are. I'm friends with a
Santaraj. You're Santaraj, right?
I'm friends with a very preeminent Santa in Southern California who has been in many productions, TV, movies, all of that, right? And that guy is well known. He's been on stage with like Mariah Carey and stuff like that, right? This guy is a big deal. He's a big deal. He's a good friend of mine. Just talked to him on the phone yesterday, right? But guys like that in Southern California that are on big productions, they get to do that a little bit, right? They get to do that some. Hey, Will Morgan made it. There's our friend Meta Egg.
I only bring it up because no other holiday character has an entourage other than Santa. Santa's got a crew, right? And I'm just wondering, like, action figures, you want the whole set, right? Like how much for the whole set, you think, right? Boy, if I was a tech billionaire Santa, the things I would waste money on. I love Santa Cloud. I do. I love it. All right, so I know you got to go, but you know me, I can talk Santa all day long.
I appreciate it, Rob. It's great. Look, we're in the same, Generation X kind of.
You're at the beginning and I'm at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But we experience many of the same things, and it's great to get your perspective on these things. I really appreciate it.
I will return after Skeleton Crew. Not right after. I'll let all your other friends come on, but then I'll come on and let you guys know what the real take is. Like
I say, next Thursday, I would love to do a community stream and talk about what's one thing you would change in each of the Star Wars movies. We'll work our way through from Phantom Menace, but you only get to change one thing in Attack of the Clones. That's going to be a tough one. And you're not allowed to just say, don't release it. That's the one thing I'm going to change.
My answer is always going to be the same for all three films. It's called George Lucas. That's my answer. So I'll just tell you right now, I took that one. I took the slot. You guys are welcome to have the rest.
Okay.
That's the
answer. All right. Well, thanks again. Have a wonderful weekend, Rob, and we'll catch you next time.
All right. Bye.
For all of you, thank you for hanging out with me today. I've had a lot of fun, and I can't wait to do this again. Until next time, my friends, I hope you have a wonderful, blessed day, and we will see you next time. And until then, Merry Christmas. May the Force be with you always. Bye-bye.